So what happens if the appraisal comes in lower than the price you agreed to pay?
It's probably worth $5,000.
First of all, don't panic. A low appraisal is not a dead deal. You've got 5 options and only one of them involves walking away. My name is Sam. I'm a licensed real estate agent and I wrote the Strategic First-Time Homebuyer. By the end of this video, you'll know all 5 options. You'll know the exact math on what a low appraisal costs you in cash, and you'll know the one situation where you can just shrug and keep going. But first, you need one rule. An appraisal is an independent opinion of what your home is worth, ordered by your lender. Appraisal. And here's the rule that explains everything else in this video. Your lender always uses the lower of the 2 numbers, purchase price or the appraised value. That's it. That's the whole thing. If the appraisal is high, they use the price. If the appraisal is low, they use the appraisal. And that matters because of loan to value, or LTV. That's just your loan amount divided by the value. It's the number your lender actually cares about, and a low appraisal pushes it in the wrong direction. Okay, so here are your 5 options if the appraisal comes in low. Option 1, you can cancel the contract. It's a little aggressive, but depending on your contract, you may have it in writing that you can back out if the appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price. Most standard contracts have that clause, but always double check yours. If it's there, you can walk away without penalty. But let's look at the options that aren't quite so dramatic. Option 2 is the one you have to try first. Ask the seller to lower the price. And I know it sounds like a long shot, but I've been on the other side of it. When I listed my own home, the appraisal came in low and I dropped my price for the buyer. That buyer was an FHA buyer with the minimum down payment. It wasn't a seller's market and we only had 2 showings, and I had no idea if another offer was coming, so I took the lower price. Never hurts to ask. Option 3 is where the math shows up. Pay the difference in cash. Let's use real numbers. You're buying at $500,000 with 3% down, so that's $15,000 down and a $485,000 loan. Divide the loan by the price and you're at 97 LTV, which is the cap on that program. That's the highest LTV you can have. Now say the appraisal comes back at $495,000. Your loan didn't change, but the value the lender uses just did. $485,000 divided by $495,000 is almost 98%. And that's over the limit. So to get back to 97%, your loan has to come down to $480,150. But the seller still wants the full $500,000, which means you're bringing $19,850 to closing instead of $15,000. Now, here's the way to think about that number so it doesn't scare you. It's 3% of the appraised value, which is $14,850, plus the $5,000 gap between the price and the appraisal. And compared to what you were already planning to bring, the extra cash is only $4,850. And the same math applies if you're putting 20% down to avoid mortgage insurance. To keep that 80% loan to value LTV on that lower value, you'd have to bring about $4,000 more. Option 4 is you do nothing. This one only works if you're already planning to put down more than the minimum. Say you're putting 10% down on that same $500,000 house. That's $50,000 down and a $450,000 loan, which is 90% LTV. The appraisal comes in at $495,000 and your loan is still at $450,000, so now you're at 90.9% LTV, and that's still under the minimum, and most lenders would be fine with that. You bring no extra cash at all. Your mortgage insurance might tick up slightly, and you'll have a little less equity than you expected, but the deal closes. Your down payment just covers more of the gap than you planned. The exception is if you were trying to put 20% down to avoid mortgage insurance. In that case, doing nothing puts you over the 80%, and then you'd have mortgage insurance that you didn't originally want. Option 5 is to fight the appraiser. And I'll be honest with you, this one's tough because appraisers, they're masters of jujitsu, but it's not impossible. The only time I've seen an appraiser actually raise a value is when the agents pointed out real errors in the report. So like wrong square footage, the wrong number of bedrooms or bathrooms, a misreported lot size, upgrades that never got counted, like hardwood floors. What doesn't work is arguing about the comps. The appraiser picked those comps and they're confident they're the master of comp selection. So bring them facts and not opinions. So now let's flip this around. What if the appraisal comes in higher than the purchase price? Nothing bad happens. Remember the rule, the lender uses the lower of the 2 numbers, so they'll just use your purchase price. Your terms don't change a bit. You simply walk in with more equity than you were expecting. And by the way, the seller doesn't have to know what the appraisal came back at. You paid for it, not them. So in the end, an appraisal is not a deal killer. So if you're staring at one right now, run through those 5 options with your agent before you panic. And if this helped, subscribe because this channel exists to help first-time home buyers. If you found this video helpful and you're feeling ready to buy your first home, head over to noobhomebuyer.com/agent and I'll connect you with a good lender or agent. The agent pays me a referral fee once you buy, so it's my goal to help you feel ready and connect you with the best professionals so you can succeed. Either way, I'm rooting for you.